Hi everybody. Recently, one of the groups I've been in, we've been making painty papers. And many of us have jelly plates and we use our jelly plates, but not everybody has that. So, a good friend of mine, Janet Baum, has this really cool idea, and she and I want to share it with you. She doesn't make videos. I think she ought to. She has absolutely amazing ideas, but she said I could make the video, and we are going to create paper tube rollers to make painty papers, decorative painty papers. Now, I got this roller, it looks like this, and I got it at Harbor Freight, and it has this little tray. But to fit in the tube, it's a little small, so I wrapped a piece of fun foam around the tube, just like so, to make the, I wrapped it around the sponge, excuse me, so that it will fit in the tubes. Let me show you in one of my tubes. See, it will just slide right in there now, and all I did was take packing tape and tape that fun foam around my sponge roller, and now it'll go in and out of my tubes. Okay, now my roller came with this cute little tray. It may or may not work, so I have what Janet uses, which is a styrofoam tray from the grocery store. Now, for some unknown reason, they send corn home on these trays. So it's like a meat tray, but they send vegetables home with it. So if you're El Cheapy, I'm pretty sure you can get one of these at the Dollar Tree. If your El Cheapy roller is too small, then wrap it with something. I think Janet told me she uses paper towels wrapped around the small roller. So you may have to adjust your roller a little bit. But then we are going to attach things to our paper tubes. Now this is a piece of bubble wrap. Oh, and this tube makes several. So, and they come in different sizes too. See, this one is big. This one is smaller, so it all depends on what kind of paper towels you get. But all you do is you take whatever we're going to take, and you're going to wrap it around there, and then I used tacky glue to tack things on. So there's some things that you've probably thought of before, and some things that you probably haven't. So I thought we would come on, and I ran out of tubes. I honestly ran out of tubes. So we're going to try the bubble wrap first. And like I said, we just want to slide that in there. And let's get some nice bright paint. And I am going to use this little paint tray and see if it works. If it doesn't work, we will go from there. Can you see me doing that? Okay, I'm just rolling it like I would roll. Now look how fun that is. And look what a cool texture and painty paper that makes. And how quick and easy. Now a lot of people use bubble wrap. So I'm just going to set the bubble wrap one aside and show you some of the others that I think are just to die for fun. Oh, see, now I did that wrong. I took the whole thing off, and what I need to do is just pull off my tube. Okay. And I can use these tubes over and over again. So this one's rubber bands. And all I did was wrap the rubber bands around and around. And I put multiple rubber bands on there. Let's get a different piece of paper out. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to move my papers further away. And have a little more paint. Now, once again, you can create layers with your different tubes and different colors of paint. Let's find a piece that's already got something on it. Here we go. And yet we added another dimension, and that was just rubber bands wrapped around a paper tube. So we've done bubble wrap, and we've done rubber bands. This is, I have another piece to show you. I thought I did. This is shelf liner. That comes in different sorts of designs or dimensions. This one has big 1/4-inch holes, and it's just shelf liner wrapped around that paper tube. And look at the design that it creates. Too fun. Now I'm setting these aside because I think that when we get down to some of the others, I want to go over the tops of these. Oh, that's not going to work. I thought I had all white paper in here. There we go. Janet mentioned burlap. One of the things that, again, I took the wrong thing off my, it comes off very easily, so you have to kind of work with it to get it off. Janet had mentioned burlap. She had wrapped one of her tubes with burlap. Well, I didn't have any burlap, but I had this stuff. This is, you make wreaths and bows and all kinds of stuff like that. It's a huge roll. It's like 18 inches. I got it, and I didn't pay $1 for it. I got it at the pound sale, so I probably paid $1/4 for it because it does not weigh a pound. And I have wrapped one of my tubes in that. And she mentioned onion bag. And so I wrapped one of my tubes in the onion bag. And let's see what they do. We need a little more paint. Now that one does not want to roll. Why doesn't it want to roll? That's interesting. There we go. And this was, like I said, as close to burlap as I could come. Oh, but it gives me sort of a burlap look. It does require a lot more paint than some of the other rollers because it's soaking into the into the fabric, into the holes of the fibers of the stuff. And it does not really want to roll very well. So, you know, maybe that one's a fail, but I kind of like the design of it. Now another thing is, it's got a lot of paint in a few spots, so I'm just rolling it back and forth. Let's try something else though. That one I'm not real fond of. That one was, but it gave us another thing that it was just something that I had around the house. And that's another thing, is that this is all part of my challenge of using what I have and not going out and getting something else. Now this is the onion skin bag. And that's a very interesting design. They're different. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but they're quite different. This one has little sort of triangles in it. Now I almost have gotten my roller a little bit too tight in my paper tubes. So it's something to consider. But Janet's paper towels might actually work better than my making it with the fun foam. Let's get some different color here. I've got blue in my tray, so we're going to be careful, and I'm going to use yellow, which will blend and make green and not something awful. And let's pick, okay, this is not one Janet mentioned. I was looking for all kinds of things that I just had around the house, and these are popsicle sticks. And so I glued popsicle sticks to my tube. Now one of the things when you do popsicle sticks you want to think about is that over here in this end of the roller, things that stick out might not work real well. So I just let the ends of the popsicle sticks, you have to put it on this way so that the popsicle sticks are on the outside of the tube. The other thing is it may not fit. Oh, it just barely fits. No. No, it does not fit in my in the little doodad here. No. So where did it go? That is something that you have to consider, is that it won't fit in here and pick up the paint. So I'm going to have to pick up paint. I have to use Janet's tray idea and pick up my paint over here on the tray, because this one is just too big. But look at here. Now that is fun. I like this one. That came out real well. Now let's put it back over one of these. We need a little more paint. And remember that even when we, you know, are making painty papers, one layer does not have to be all it's going to be. I like this one. It is fun. It gives me a different look. Now I put them on about 1/4 of an inch apart. You could possibly put them on real close together. Because I'm picking up different colors of paint, I'm getting a multiple paint kind of thing. Let's put more yellow paint out there and do it again just to see if, because I picked up some blue that I got in the tray, but I couldn't get it to pick up paint everywhere. So that looks like a fun design. Let's put it over the top of our, let's put it over the top of some of a brayer off, where we brayered off the edges off our roller. Something different. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Now, one thing you might want to do is not change your rollers every 5 seconds. I am getting kind of painty because I'm changing them. If you went through and did a group of paint of different things, then you would have you wouldn't get so painty. Now, this one, I had this piece of, it's corrugated cardboard, so it's smooth on one side and bumpy on the other side. And there again, I think it's going to give me a lined design. And I should be able to do this one in the pan here. Yeah. So I can pick up the mixture of yellow and blue paint that I've got down in the bottom of this pan. And that's a fun lined design. It also makes a fun sound when you're doing it. See again that. Now, one of the things I'm noticing is that you have to have a fair amount of paint. It's no more so than if I was jelly printing, I don't think. But because you have to get enough paint on a roller to make the design. Okay, now what if we take this same roller and go back the other way? We're getting sort of a plaid design, which is really fun. Now that is really cool. So remember that just because you go one way with a design doesn't mean you have to continue to go that way. And also, laying one design over the top. Uh-oh, I've laid papers over the top of wet papers. Not good. This design doesn't really excite me, so let's put some more of this one on there. Okay. Let's go back the other way. Let's see if, I don't think it picks up any better in this tray over that tray. What I do think is that if it sticks out, it doesn't pick up. So there again, we're layering our different designs that are on our paint rollers. Better make sure they stand up. Okay, so now I think some of you may have seen that I had this roll. This is textured wallpaper. It's just a border of textured wallpaper. Let me get out. This piece is I used this piece to print with on the jelly plate. Well, I decided that that was so cool, I would make a couple of paint rollers with that design, with this design. Now this one is the design from the middle, and this one is 4 pieces of the border. Oops, the border here. So you've got to think sort of, we used it on the jelly plate, but we can also make different designs by using it on this roller, and it just rolls right out very neatly. I need some more paint here. Oops. Oh, I got too much paint on there. That is something I have to learn to not do, is I've got too much paint in my tub. So we need to, okay, push the thing back in. And rolling it on this tray might be better, because then you don't have to try to get it in this little tub. But isn't that pretty? And that is just textured wallpaper, but it's been put on a paper tube so that you can use it as a roller. And if you can get samples from a wallpaper store, let's see about putting that same design over this one. I think it will be real pretty to layer that together. Okay. The other nice thing is, if you don't get quite enough coverage on the first pass, you can roll it back towards you. And you can't really see the design, but you can. It's got just one more texture to it. Okay. I keep pulling at the wrong part. There we go. Now we're going to try our border. Oh, we need more paint. More paint, more paint. The yellow might not show up so well. That may be something we want to consider changing. But isn't that a cool design? Just simple as you can get. Now I found with this wallpaper that once you used it a few times, the design got paint on it, and it actually dried a little bit stiff, and therefore it picked up the paint a little bit better. But isn't that fun? And there again, you can just layer things over. Let's try this one. I'm losing my paint roller. That is one thing, it gets a little sticky. And you're just making designs, and it just is so much fun to make painty papers real quick, real easy with your paint rollers. Now, let's get this one off of here. There we go. Okay. Janet has also used aluminum foil and cling wrap, and I didn't have cling wrap, and I think she's also used plastic bag, so I just thought I would try the plastic bag. And look at that fun texture. And I love how the paint has mixed together and it gives us a different kind of background. I got a piece of paper over there. Let's see if there's any paint left over here on this one. Now I just wrinkled the plastic bag up and glued it together around the paint roller. So it's all wrinkly and it moves. Let's put some blue in the paint tray over here. And I'm not being overly generous with this paint. I'm just getting it. Oh my, see how pretty that is. And that's just a plastic bag around the paint tube. Isn't that fun? Okay, we have to find a place to put this one. Let's go out there. Oh yeah, Okay. Plastic bag around a paint tube. Now, this one is probably gonna dry stiff, and that's okay. I'll just use it again later. And it'll give me maybe a different texture next time. Who knows? Okay, I have two more. One of them is kind of a surprise for Janet, I hope. This one, I happen to have, I crochet, so I happened to be looking for the burlap the other day when I was looking for the burlap. Couldn't find burlap, and I found this kind of doily that I had, and I glued it to my paper tube, and I wanted to try it. Okay, and we're gonna need more paint. More paint, more paint, more paint. Now, it's gonna suck the paint up, that's for sure, because it's cotton. Once it gets the paint on it and the paint dries and you go to use it the next time, likely as not, it will not take as much paint. But this time it's really sucking it up, so that's one of the things you do have to realize. And you know, these are paper tubes and they're things you have around the house, so if it doesn't work and you don't like it, it's okay. If it gets bad because the paint dries in it, that's okay too. Make a new one. Now, I would think that if you had one of those plastic doilies, I think Dollar Tree even has some plastic doilies, but I'm on a spending freeze, so no going to buy stuff. This is called Use What You've Got. Now, isn't that just beautiful? That came out really cool. We're going to have to make another one of those. And now that that's kind of sopped up into the cotton, you probably can make 4 or 5 of them with the paint that's on your roller. That is really, really, really cool. They're going to be so far back there I can't reach them. I have to take the paint off of this roller because, uh-oh, I'm pushing too hard and I pushed it and it slid. So that's something you don't want to do. You don't want to push. You want it to roll. Okay, let's do the next one. I think that it's the last one. It is. And I have to tell you, it was a fun one. I've been collecting these for a while. These are pop bottle caps. There's a store near here that sells odd pop and like knee-high and grape knee-high and grape frosty and Sioux City root beer. They also have Coke and that kind of thing. Anyways, I had that whole bag and I was standing there in my junk room looking for things to put on our paint rollers. And I decided to try this one. So Janet, this one is something you didn't mention, but I thought it would be fun to try. So we are going to have a fair amount of paint because it's going to have to get into these. And I think we'll go for some, let's go for some bright green, if I've got enough. Okay, that one is almost empty, so that's not going to work. This is a new one, or a relatively new one. And each one of those rollers, or each one of those pop caps, is going to do something weird. Now, like I said, if it doesn't work, it's not a big deal. We haven't invested a ton of money in something if it doesn't work. Remember, we're supposed to be using what we've got and having fun. Don't think we've got enough paint yet. Okay. It's a little harder to get the paint on it. Let's get some blue in there to mix with it. It wants to slide because it doesn't roll real well. So I'm having to roll it around in the paint a little bit. And this is one that going back and forth is really more fun because it seems to make the design is so small. Okay, and it's easier, honestly, to get the paint on it if you just turn it yourself and get paint on each cap. Let's find another piece of paper. We could change the color and go back with a new one, just do something different. This just has so many possibilities. I have got at least a dozen more things that I can think of that I could put on these paper tubes to make designs. It's just a matter of looking at what has texture and what you find fun to draw with or paint with. And then if it's one you're just kind of bored with, go back and paint over it. That's the thing. That's what we do when we're doing our other jelly prints. We just go back and we paint over it with something else. Now, this one is just a little boring, if you ask me. So I'm going to go over it. Let's see. Let's use our cardboard tubes, our corrugated cardboard. It'll make us some little lines. Oh, now I have a fence. And how about if we go this way? Now these make great painty papers, and you don't have to have a jelly plate. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you'll go make some decorative paper tube rollers and make some fun painty paper. Anyways, you guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy yourselves. Go play, go have fun, make some art. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for stopping in. Go have fun.